Taylor GS Mini Kova, which I'm going to pull out in a few seconds. But I think the first thing I'm going to do today is a bit of a philosophical noodle. So it's still in the spirit of my Noodling Nirvana channel. There's nothing concrete, in my mind to be known or learnt. Everything is about the impressions that we get and the impressions we lose. So the first musing noodle is about in response to something that has come up in class on aesthetic education, aesthetic knowledge, aesthetic knowing, and the idea of metissage, where different people write reflexively, autobiographically about their view of life, about being, and then they try to find commonalities as they try to weave their different strands together, braid them together. So my first musing is on this idea of looking for commonalities, one specific way of thinking about it being a resonance. One analogy that some people give is the idea of bats navigating the world by sending out ultrasonic signals and having them reflect off echolocation of surfaces. So that's one way of looking at resonance, where your own signals are bounced off other things. But another way of looking at resonance is where the essential similarity in the constituents of two bodies, elementary similarities, which means the elements which constitute have to be tuned to the same frequency. And when you send out your signal loud and clear, you're looking for a resonance on the other end, which is based on something which is essentially common. So you're not trying to make up commonalities, not trying to, slide over differences. And in the service of that, I also think this other idea that we are exploring about life writing, writing on paper or in words on any kind of a device such as a computer, that is a much more limited medium than others which might be available. So as soon as the internet came up, or at least I became aware of it some couple of decades ago, I was a little excited about the possibilities. Pretty much in the same spirit as the Voyager, after having passed Saturn, it just keeps on sending out these samples of music and speech out into the big wide open, hoping to see if somebody will make something of it. I don't think it's looking for exact resonances, but I think with lightweight ways of sending out your stories, yourself in a way, in story, in signal, it's a better way than words on paper. So maybe music, maybe sound, maybe video images, maybe dots and dashes, maybe ones and zeros might be a better way of sending out your elementary essence out there, and see what you find genuine resonance with, which means something very deeply common. And the wider your audience is, the greater your chance of finding that resonance with that, or he or she, or it, which is more similar, essentially similar, something tuned to the same elementary frequency as you. So that, gets you around the idea of having to be with everybody around who is different. Difference is great to acknowledge and recognize, but if we have higher goals, hopes, aspirations in this limited existence, there's also the idea of looking for some more genuine resonances on the elementary level, looking for the same element, same frequency, and you have boom, as soon as the two things hit, sometimes glasses crash, bridges break down, and literally they do. That used to be one of our questions in class 10 for give scientific explanation for. So matching of exact frequencies has a huge potential impact. Hey, it's a resonance to live for. All right, so enough of this musing of philosophical noodle. Turned out to be a little long, but hey, as you pull out noodles, sometimes they turn out longer than you thought they were. So in a few minutes, I'm gonna pick up my guitar and do some acoustic noodling on that. So I've been meaning to do this, outdoors, pastoral setting for music for a long time, and here today. And this is going to be a noodle on Noodle in the Wind. Noodle in my dust in my noodle. I'm going to skip the intro and jump into the verse. Starting with Take My Hand. Here's the noodle on Jimi Hendrix's Little Wing, one of the greatest songs ever written. So I picked up the mandolin after a long time yesterday, and the fingers are really sore. And trying out somewhat chilly day. So Fingers are freezing. Alright, so fingers are totally freezing. I'm gonna try another one. Windmills of your mind. Fingers freezing, mandolin going out of tune, playing music outdoors works once in a while, not all the time. It's freezing, and that is the end of experiment for the day.